right now we're living in an entire illusion, right? Who we've been taught to be, we don't know who we are. And we don't, we're on automatic pilot. We don't know what we like. We don't know. It's really cool how they're showing me. The most important experience human beings can have is connection. Our ability to connect with energy itself is the foundation for our ability to feel everything and experience life as we were meant to. It drives every experience you have. It tells you how to act and react, but we're not feeling, we're thinking our way through all of these things. So there's so many components to knowing who you are. And the whole point, like that's really what I've studied for the last 20 years is who are humans really? Because it's peeling back all the layers of untruth. And it's so different from who we've been taught to be, right? So we keep getting all of this pressure to stay in this human physical world where you think first. And if you're lucky, you might feel something, I don't know, a year or two later, right? Like it's just, how many people have traumatic experiences and it's like 15 years later that all of a sudden that history comes back up, but they have memories of it because it has to clear. That they've only started feeling then. It's, you know, yes, it's our protection mechanism that's built into us, but it's also understanding that we weren't ever created that way. So it's a tricky question to answer because we're so much more. And that's the point is we have no idea who we are. And yet these are all the things like, I mean, I've been studying it for 20 years. It's every little bit of everything that I've learned in those 20 years contribute to, oh, that's another thing we don't know. That's another thing we don't know. But the short answer is we're living in illusion. It's fundamentally different. It goes against every one of our natural instincts, every one of them. And when you start to restore the basic fundamental natural instincts, then you begin to create a foundation that you can build on. And that's really where this summer is going to be so like the Elevate experience. That's exactly it. My intention is to elevate your vibration so you can have more of you in your life, in your world, in your understanding. And I mean, our souls are who we are. We're meant to guide ourselves on this journey of evolution. We're meant to always know everything we need to know when we need to know it. We don't need to walk around with a whole bunch of information in our head because that's not how universal knowing and learning goes. It's the moment you focus on something, everything in existence that relates to that comes to you. That's how I get answers. That's why whenever someone, excuse me, asks me a question, and it doesn't matter if it's here, if it's walking down the street, if I hear something on the radio, if I'm watching a TV show, if someone asks a question, I'm going to get an answer. And that's how all of humanity was created to exist. Can you imagine? Can you imagine your life knowing all the time? How it's comforting. It's comforting. It's freedom. There's no fear in it. I've literally worked with clients who were going through being sued for ridiculous things, but they were all lies. But I was able to get the truth and say, okay, this is the lawyer you need. Then this is what you need to share with your lawyer. Specifically, this is also, you want to, but it's not just truth. It's understanding that compassion is a component of that. It's understanding why the person wanted to do it in the first place. Because when you understand it, you don't get angry. You have awareness and you have compassion. And it's like, okay, I understand why you did this. And if I can, I'm able to walk them off the ledge of the anger of, I can't believe it, right? The point is, all of humans were meant to experience life this way. And so that's why I wrote the book Believe so that you could start to understand all of these elements of your existence that are vital to your success. And now, like I said, we're years in and everyone's like, please, can you do another workshop? I did this workshop in 2012 one time. And so I've heard a number of times, please, can you go deeper? Can you go deeper? And that's what we're doing, because when you know who you are, everything becomes possible. There's no barriers, there's no limits anymore, right? That's the whole point, is we've been taught to live in a world of limits. And when you know who you are, the limits dissolve. So it's not a tangible thing to say, who you are. It's like when people are saying, what's my sole purpose? And they want a job description. It's the same thing. I can't give you that kind of an answer in the sense of here's the definition of that. It's an understanding that who you've been taught to be is fundamentally different than who you are. And that's what we need to restore, because then all of it, you just make sense and you're like, oh, okay. Right.